forwarded to the board directly. At this time, I'd like to introduce staff and members of the board. Hudson Cheshire, Associate City Attorney. Josh McKinney, Zoning Administrator. Lim O'Leary, Planner. I ask that the board members introduce themselves, starting with my left.
Mary Catherine Holt.
Rodney Pelt.
Michelle Coley, Chair.
Paul Rollins Jr.
Joe Robinson.
Now, by virtue of state law and city ordinances, the purpose of the Zoning Board of Adjustment is as follows. Hears appeals from zoning officers' decisions, grants special exception to zoning code in accordance with the terms as established by the City Council. Now, grants variances from the zoning code when strict enforcement creates unnecessary hardship. Now, circumstances that are not hardship include those that are self-inflicted or self-created, inconvenient, and/or personal. Now, the Zoning Board of Adjustments does not interpret or enforce subdivisions, covenants, or HOA rules. Those matters are not relevant areas of inquiry by the board on any petition. Now, there were sign-up sheets located outside for public comment. 4 speakers are allowed to speak in favor of a petition, and 4 speakers are allowed to speak in opposition of a petition. All speakers will have a maximum of 5 minutes unless the board votes to allow a longer time. Now, the board will take up items in the order of our final agenda. The board will initially receive a presentation from the staff as to the details of the agenda item. Now, after the staff's presentation, I will call upon the petitioner to present their case. The petitioner will have a maximum of 10 minutes unless the board votes to allow a longer time. Now, at the conclusion of the petitioner's remarks, I will call on any party in order of sign-up who desires to support the petition. Thereafter, I will call on any party in order of sign-up those who oppose the petition. Now, when it's your turn for comment, please introduce yourself, stating your name and address to the board. To provide your remarks, any written comments have already included into the record. Now, after receiving the remarks of those who oppose the petitioner will have the opportunity to respond to those objections. Now, any rebuttal will be limited to 2 minutes unless the board votes to allow longer time. Now, if the petitioner presents any new information in response to the objections, the board will allow those who oppose the petition the opportunity to respond to the new information only. Now, any response will be limited to 2 minutes unless the board votes to allow a longer time. Now, during the course of this presentation, you may be interrupted by any member of the board for clarification and additional information. Now, such interruptions will not reduce your allowed time limit. Now, once the board members are satisfied that they have received all relevant information, I will close further discussion by the public, at which time the board members will discuss the matter and then vote. Now, after the vote, you are free to leave. Now, these proceedings are video recorded and broadcast live. All in-person public comment should be made at the podium and into the microphone. Now, any party aggrieved by any final judgment or decision of such Zoning Board of Adjustments may within 15 days after appeal thereof to the circuit court by filing with such board a written notice of appeal specifying the judgment or decision from which the appeal is taken. Now, do any board members have any conflict of interest as to any agenda matters? If so, please state the same for the record. No. Now, I would ask the staff to confirm on the record that proper notice has been given to all parties in interest as required by law as to the matters before the board tonight.
Yes, it has.
Okay. Now, with that, we will begin with the approval of the minutes as the Board of Adjustments has received the synopsis for the November 2025, December 2025, and January 2026 meetings. I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the same unless there are any deletions, additions, or corrections. I need a motion and a second to approve the synopsis.
So move.
Second.
Okay, voting?
Yes.
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 Synopsis is approved. Now we move to staff presentation.
All right, good afternoon, Board. We do have one case requesting withdrawal tonight, ZBA 1226. Michael Tinker petitions for a special exception to allow the short-term rental of a property located at 6817 Abbey Trace Drive, zoned SFR2, Council District 6. If we could have a vote on that withdrawal, please.
So we need a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
So move. Second.
Voting?
Yes.
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 All right, moving on to our first case tonight, ZBA 0926, A1 Investments petitions for a variance from the use-specific standards to allow a liquor store at the property located at 1500 McFarland Boulevard East, Zone GC, Council District 5. Here we have an aerial view of that property. This is right at the intersection of Veterans Memorial, McFarland Boulevard, currently Roll Mart, and the zoning. Here we have some pictures of the site today. The applicant is requesting a variance to allow the operation of a liquor store. Blue House, located at 1514 6th Avenue East, zoned MR2, is within 1,000 feet of the proposed liquor store. As you can see below there, as a standard specific to our commercial uses for liquor stores, code says that no liquor store should be located within 1,000 feet of a residential use in a residential district. Blue House meets that definition. If approved, the proposed liquor store will operate Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Sundays from 12 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and it'll be staffed by 2 employees. Here we have that 1,000-foot buffer shown here. You can see it's intersecting with Blue House here. Then here's an image of what those apartments look like today. It's intersecting this building here. Here are your regulations for liquor stores that I mentioned previously. You can see that 1,000-foot requirement for residential use in a residential district and your decision-making standards for variances. We did not receive any written comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
Not at this time.
Thank you.
A1 Investments.
I'm Ken Aycock, 1107 23rd Avenue. I'm the attorney for A1 Investments. This is Mr. Kasim, who's the owner of the company. Yes. I guess the picture that they've pulled up is exactly the one I was going to request we look at. Our variance basically request is that that property, which sits at the extreme corner of the Midtown Shopping Mall, it's just barely with that, within the 1,000-foot exception of the Blue House apartment buildings. There's no direct access from one to the other. There's no roads that lead directly into it. The property is at a corner of 4 or 3 other commercial sites and has been a commercial site for many, many years. My client bought the property as it sits. We did not do any of the groundwork or the, renovations or changes. And the property really can't be used for anything other than retail. And this retail is going to be one of the highest and best uses that we could come up with for it because of its site and the size of the property available to us. But we figured that the effect or the whatever it had effect upon the Blue House property would be minimal, if any, because of how remote it really is in terms of getting to it. If you were looking at this, it's how the bird flies across to it, but that's not in reality how you would get from one to the other. And the rest of the properties around the site are all commercial property, some with liquor licenses, I believe. And it seems to go more in hand with those properties than with a residential district.
So with asking for a variance, what is the hardship? Are you all saying the only thing it can be used for is a liquor store?
The only thing we've been able to come up with as an economically viable use of the store is to be able to have liquor sales on that location. We've tried other stores on it, and it's not.
What's beer and wine right there? That's only right now to move. it's already beer and wine. We just add, it's been like liquor, it'd be like bagging store, change it from convenience to liquor stores. I mean, already been beer and wine back there.
So what you're saying is then that it's a financial reason that we're doing this?
Well, no, not just a financial reason. I think it's unfair that the property is going to be treated as if it were inside a residential district when it is clearly at the most commercial district in the city. I mean, it's at the intersection of the two biggest commercial areas in town with 15th and McFarland.
So looking at this, you know, you want to say something, bro?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You, kind of hard to buy that argument when you say that the only thing that it can be used for is a liquor store. When you have pharmacy across the street, you got McDonald's right down the street, you got all these other food places and stuff like. It's kind of hard to buy that argument. And this accordance, this zoning accordance has been in law for how long? It's been on the books for how long? For a long time?
This code since the beginning of 2025.
Okay, 2025. And when did you buy this property?
We bought about
Invest in this property?
3 years ago.
10 years ago?
3 years.
3 years ago?
Yeah.
So you knew the changes are evident when you bought it. So if you knew the variance or the accordance of the law or whatever it is, it's been on the books for a year or so, why are you asking for a hardship now if you didn't know? If you should have known this up to this point. Why is it a hardship? That's what I'm trying to get to see. Why is it a hardship when you got CVS across the street, you got University Mall over there, you got Midtown, you got all this stuff going on? Why is that a hardship to have a liquor store?
It's not, we bought it in this
So
area.
it's not a
because-
hardship?
We buy this area because it's all commercial. That's why we're not saying it's gonna be hard.
But you're saying that the only, your attorney said the only thing that can go there
No, because
is the liquor
I'm
store.
in this business.
Okay. but
Because I'm in this business.
I get
That's
that.
what's gonna be to me. I mean, I'm in this business.
I get
That's
that.
what I'm gonna do.
I
It's
get
a-
that, but the comment that was made was the only thing that can go here is the liquor store.
Well, we don't have.
That's what I'm trying to get to see. Why
don't
is it
have
the only thing that can go there?
We don't have sufficient ground out there to do additional parking, to make it a bigger type of store. So restaurants, food supplies, we don't have the parking for it. We don't have a way to create a drive-through that would drive around the building. We're very limited on access, how to get in and out of the building because of the way that the building was left after the expansion of McFarland Boulevard. So, and that was before we bought it. So it's got some handicaps that we're trying to work with there. So we're looking for something that does not have a high population density, I guess, of folks at one time. Mr. Kasim has another liquor store on 15th Street and previously owned another one that was on 10th Avenue. No,
That's a demolition.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
was
one.
demolished.
Yeah.
And was familiar with the requirements of the liquor stores in terms of how many people are there, the kinds of requirements you're going to have for parking and the volume of traffic that you get. So that's why this looked like it would work for it. I mean, I just cannot see this as a drugstore or a restaurant because we don't have enough parking spaces.
We thought about this one. We were talking about parking lot. I tried one time to be like a coffee shop, but to need a coffee shop, you need more parking lot people. They're gonna come and stop and get in their service and take times. But as a convenience store and liquor, that's be easy, just buy and go. You didn't have to sitting right there all with the limit parking.
Okay. Any more questions for A1? Okay, thank you. Now, we don't have anybody signed up to speak for or against. Is there anybody in the audience that'd like to speak for or against this petition? All right, at this time, we'll close public comment and go to board comment.
I understand, looking at this map up here, it looks like just a small sliver of residential area that this diameter kind of intersects with. But I have a lot of respect for the regulations that our code through framework establishes. And because of that, you know, if we grant this down the road, if we have another similar case, how much of that residential area can we encroach into? And I like to be very consistent with my voting. And because of that, I also don't really see a hardship related to this. And so for those reasons, I'm not in favor of granting the variance.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. You know, you said a slither here or a slither there, just a few apartments here, a few apartments there. What's going to happen when the next one comes up? When it's looked at that our rules and regulations through the framework, my framework is not adhered across the board the same way. And to say that's a hardship because the only thing I can have is a liquor store, I'm not in favor.
You know, I'm a business owner, small business owner, so I do understand wanting to maximize your investment and what you're familiar with and what you know how to do. My issue here is that framework is new, and the purpose of it was a lot of work and effort went in to kind of, you know, make sure that we are upholding the standards of our areas and our different areas and having things the way it needs to be for the betterment of our city. And looking at this property, you bought it 3 years ago, and after this goes in force a year and a half later, now we're talking about doing the liquor store. It does beer and wine now, so I don't understand why having to shift. And like, if you had immediately done it, then I can understand, like, okay, I bought it and that's the plan of what I was trying to do. I just don't see the hardship. It sounds like an inconvenience, it sounds financial, but it doesn't sound like there's nothing else I can do with this property. There's nothing else I can do with this property. And so for that reason, I wouldn't be in favor.
Yeah, I agree with my other board members. It's more so timing, just bad timing for you. As a property owner, you have had this property for 3 years. Framework became into effect in 2025. So when I looked at it initially, there are other liquor stores that are within that 1,000-foot radius of residential districts and areas. However, they were all approved before framework came into place in 2025. So with that, I don't see a hardship. I'm not in favor.
I also agree with all the other board members. I just don't see a hardship in this case.
Okay, at this time, we'll close board comment, and I'll read the petition. ZBA-09-26A1 investment petitions for a variance from the use-specific standards to allow a liquor store at the property located at 1500 McFarland Boulevard East, Zone GC, Council District 5, voting
No.
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 Petition fails.
All right, moving on to our next case tonight, ZBA 1026, Cora Stewart, petitions for a special exception to allow the use of a private club or lodge for the operation of an after-school program at the property located at 2518 Foster's Ferry Road, zoned MR1, Council District 1. Here we have an aerial view of the property and its zoning. This is just off Foster's Ferry, south of West Highland Cemetery. A view of that property from the street, and the parking, and the view of the front of that building. So they are requesting a special exception to operate an after-school program serving as a supervised youth development center from youth ages 8 to 19. Petitioner expects a daily attendance of 40 to 60 youth between the hours of from Monday to Friday from 2:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. with a summer program operating from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, and as needed for occasional special events. It'll be staffed by 6 employees, and they will provide van transportation and allow parent drop-off and pickup. You may be asking why it's called a private club or lounge for this use. As you can see in our definition here, examples include in that use social clubs, youth centers, things like that. Staff felt like this would be the best way to define this use. So here are your regulations for those and your decision-making standards for special exceptions. We did receive one written comment in support. Do you have any questions for staff?
So do we have to put any restrictions, because go back to the code of what it can be. So if we approve it for private club and lodge, can it be used for social club? Would they be able to do social club things there?
So the petitioner did say they did not plan on doing that. This would be for the use of a community center. If it went outside of the bounds of that approval, they would have to come back, and you could place a condition on approval that, no social club activities take place.
Okay, so we can put that in the approval that we
Yes, ma'am.
strictly youth center activities. Now, did the fire department say anything about occupancy in terms of, because he's saying 40 to 60, and looking at the building, I'm just,
We did ask the applicant to reach out to city staff to talk through those details. I'll let him confirm what he found out.
okay.
Would you show a map again?
Sure.
Where there'll be parking and will be dropping off children?
So this is their primary parking area right now. I'll let the applicant confirm what their plans are for parking, but this is what exists on the site currently.
And, okay, right there, yeah. What is the road?
This is Foster's Ferry
Foster
Road.
Ferry, okay. So they would drive up the driveway to the house?
I'll let the applicant confirm what the parking plan is.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Mr. Stewart? Hey.
Name and address.
My home address?
Yes.
Okay. Corey Stewart, 11579 Andrew Way, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35405.
So tell us your plan and what you want to do with your building.
So as the building sits now, well, let me back up. We are Fork in the Road Foundation, a youth development organization where we help kids find their path, in their life. So we focus on STEM activities, mentorship, things like that. As the building sits now, we can't do any of that. All right, so the building was built in 1950. I have consulted with an architect. So there are going to be, of course, changes and things like that. So we would have to go back to development or something like that to see what we can actually build on the site. But as the building sit, it was actually a daycare, and the building is set up like a daycare on the inside for smaller kids.
So so what you're asking us to do now, are you going to start using it immediately?
Yes, so what we plan to do, we run our summer program out of St. Paul United Methodist Church downtown on Bryant Drive. So of course, this building is not ready for us this year. So what we plan to do upon approval is go in and see what we can do to house that building next year.
I have a question for the city.
Yes, sir.
Usually when we look at something like this, if it's known that there's gonna be changes or major changes to it, the petitioner usually comes with the final drawings and renderings of the
So
facility.
for this application, the petitioner is just requesting the use. They would still need to go through any permitting to make sure the building's habitable and parking requirements. If you would like to request more information, the board can always continue the case.
So it's not so much the building that's concerning me, but it is the access to the building, especially on a road with that curve. And we had several months back a school or a case for a school that also had some access issues that we denied. So the building is one component, but how you were dropping off and exiting this site is very important to whether or not we, like me in particular, feel comfortable granting this. So you might not have plans for the building yet, but like if there are site modifications to where you are pulling in one way and you're exiting another way, so that would be very important, I think, for me personally to see.
Yes, ma'am. So, of course, there will be an engineer to kind of set that up. We just haven't gotten to that part yet. The first part, what I was told is to see if we can get it for that special use.
So explain to me, why would he need a special exception if he's not doing nothing in the building right now? Is he gonna do nothing until 2027, 2028, whenever he's ready? Why does he need this now?
I would imagine because the petitioner wants to make sure that they can do it before they put money into the project.
Yeah, so it's zone MR1 residential. Before, again, as it sits now, it's actually a daycare. It's not a home with bedrooms and things like that. So I actually I just purchased the property, so I actually want to go back and do something similar there.
You looking to rezone? Are you looking to rezone for commercial use?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, just to be clear, Board, the petitioner would not have to rezone for this. The special exception, if approved, would allow him to operate this as it currently is zoned.
And Mr. Stewart, I know it says use of private club or lodge, but we have your assurance that it most definitely won't be used as a private club or a lodge.
No, I'm a youth development organization. So.
Okay. I've heard of your organization, and I just want to make sure that it's on record that you are and will not use it as a private club or a lodge.
Yes.
Because we have had some concerns, or should I say that? Yeah, some concerns from the residents in the Washington Square community about a private club or lodge, but you are assuring that community that it will not be used as a private club or lodge, right?
Correct. We are a after-school and summer program.
Okay, gotcha.
Any other questions?
Will the children be able to play outside?
Yes, so it sits on almost an acre lot, so it's 0.90. So yeah, there is room for all of that there as it sits.
I guess I'm uncomfortable voting for it without seeing some plans. And I understand the reason why,
Correct.
but it's,
Well, as
what
it
about the
sits,
site distance on, are they going to drive through, or are they going to come out that one, there's one lane driveway?
So as it sits, with me not touching it, there is a one-way up, and you can go back out the other way.
So you go through the portico?
Show that.
Yeah,
Go back
I
and
don't
show
think we
that.
can see that.
You come back out where?
So as the building sits, you come up on one drive, and it's actually, I think the city may have built it. You see the other drive right here at the bottom where it says Foster's Ferry Road?
Oh,
That drives right in the property.
Oh, it's like a little road.
Correct,
Oh.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's on top of the retaining
Okay,
wall, as
but-
it sits now.
You've got a wall, a brick wall, a block wall, it looks like.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Retaining wall, yes.
Okay, there it is. Now, if you're coming out on the other side, can you see?
If you're coming out on the other side, yeah. that's
What
how-
about the sight distance?
So yes, there are houses that park there and they back up or they pull out into the road. So yeah, it's been there for years.
It's like a side road for them
Yeah.
so that you can turn around and see what you're doing.
So where that truck sits now, he can actually go straight and come out on the other side of Foster Ferry, or on the other side of this road.
I'm going to pull up
As it sits now.
a quick street view.
Okay.
So right there in front, that road right there in front of it, there it is right there. There's the road.
All right, can you look backward, turn it around, look
Yes.
back? There you go.
There you go.
And look again. To me, that's a pretty short distance.
Well, those houses are there, they use that road.
Well, you see what I'm talking about?
Yes,
though.
sir. Yes, sir.
As you come around that curve,
Correct.
Oh,
But
that
with
could be a
engineering,
problem.
of course, when we get to that point, of course, we're going to think about a safer way to come out of there, come in and out.
So I have no issues with the use of it. I'm familiar with the daycare center and the previous owners who used to own it. My only question about it is now is if we approve it, because we've had cases like this before where it needs to be approved, sometimes for funding issues to make sure we can have the funds in place to proceed with the project. But we approve it today, and then once you get your renderings together, will he still have to come back to us in case he gets into a situation where he's in the setback or what have you, anything like that? So what would the setback look like?
Yeah, so if he were approved tonight, he would still need to meet all other city regulations. This would just be for the use. So if there are any setback issues or anything like that, we would address that at the permitting stage.
So the city engineer will be reviewing,
Most likely. We did ask the
physical-
applicant to reach out to both engineering, fire, and building, just to get feedback from them on the viability of this project. I'll let him confirm what he found out.
What did you find out?
I have not reached out to them yet. I'm sorry.
What did you say he would be able to confirm?
I'm sorry?
You just said he should be able to confirm? The
You-
city, the engineer will be able to confirm?
I'm sorry, the applicant could confirm. We asked the applicant to reach out to those departments.
Did you reach out to those
No, I
departments?
have not.
I think what we're struggling with is that it seems like this may be early in the process to get the approval. And so you're saying you need the approval so you can proceed with the rest of the work that you want to do.
Yes, so I was told that make sure it's zoned for what you want to do there, and I want to do a youth development center there.
So because it was a daycare previous use and a youth, that doesn't seem like that's going to be not a good use of the property. So we can improve that, but he will be governed by all the other rules and regulations once he starts building and operating. All we're saying is that he can do a youth center.
That's correct.
And then from there, he still has to bring plans, drawings. Fire department's got to come out and do occupancy and get
Right.
all of that. Okay, so
Yeah,
all,
any renovations he do will be looked at by the city staff. Additionally, when he gets his building permit, fire will do an investigation on the occupancy.
okay.
Were there any traffic issues when this was a daycare? I mean, I still have a little bit of a hesitation about how you access and leave the site. I don't know if if there will be a traffic study done as part of this. I'm not super familiar with the area, but it seems like you have no line of sight if you're trying to leave.
Yeah, the ZBA could request that the applicant do a traffic study before operating if they wanted to.
and it was 60 children, did I see that on the
Yes, sir.
60 children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions for this participant? Okay, thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you all.
All right, we don't have anybody signed up to speak for or against.
There was somebody raise their hand.
Okay. What's that, though? At this time, I'll open up public comment. Anybody like to speak for or against?
Good afternoon. My name is Renita Abernathy. I live at 2519 6th Court, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35401. My main concern was that I own a piece of property that's adjacent to where he wants to open the center. And like the rest of you, I was concerned about it being used as a social club is what I gathered. And if he makes that saying that he won't turn it into a social club and that it is indeed used for what it is. And speaking with Mr. Stewart, I was reassured of that, and I feel that he's a person of his word from speaking to him. And I think if the board would allow him to come back, show his plans, I think he has some great ideas. I'm excited about what it is going to bring to that side of town and for that building or that piece of property, because I know years from growing up in that area of what it used to be. And it worked fine as it is right now back then. But as we talked about it, restructuring the ins and out of going in and out of there, I'm sure he's going to address that issue, and also the building as far as accommodating the children and making it appropriate for children of the age range that he suggested. So I think it's a wonderful idea. I'm for it, and I just wanted it to be noted that I am for it and that I did have that concern for it being used as a social club, because that's not something that I would go for. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment. Is there anyone else that'd like to speak for or against this petition?
Mr. O'Leary, if this board does approve, and then 2 years from now, the building is sold or the land is sold, could it be used as a social club then?
No, sir. The special exception is granted to the owner of the property. If hands change, they would have to come back if they wanted to do something similar.
Anybody else in the public like to speak for or against this petition? Okay, at this time, we'll close public comment and go to board comment.
As somebody who has a child that utilizes an after-school program, I know how much these are needed. There's probably a really great need for these in the Tuscaloosa in general. And so I'm excited about that opportunity. I am really concerned about the traffic entering and exiting the site. Because I do pick up from daycare and an extended day, I know that the cars are either all there at one time or they're not there. And so if you've got 40 to 60 students and you have potentially 40 to 60 cars there, I just want to make sure that traffic is it's safe in that area. And so I am okay approving the special exception if we require a traffic study, okay? But only if we require a traffic study.
Yeah, I've done my research on Mrs. Stewart and the foundation, Fork in the Road Foundation. I think it's an awesome and incredible foundation. I did have my concerns when it comes to the language in the wording of the private club, but my concern's been assured that it will not be a private club or a lodge. And also, I agree with the traffic study. I think you have my full support contingent on the traffic study being done. And yeah, like she said, like Mary Catherine said it, that after school pickup and daycare is a mess. So yeah, you have my support contingent on that, and go forth and prosper.
I agree with my fellow board members. I too am concerned about traffic. And I really like something, can we put in there that it has to be a youth center, used for youth center purposes? I'd like to stipulate that so that there's no confusion, because, sometimes, a family gathering can turn into a party and it can get bigger and, you want to use it for different things. You need to make money in fundraisers and you might think it's okay, so we want to just stipulate youth center so that we won't have any confusion. I think that'll be conducive with the community as well.
Yeah, I agree with all the board members. Like I said before, I have no issues with the use of it. The wording threw me off a little bit when I initially saw the agenda, but this is something that's much needed for our youth, so I have no issues. And I also see on here where they will provide the van transportation, so that will assist with some of the patient drop-off and pickup, so I'm in favor.
I'm in favor of it too, with the exceptions that we had talked about, actually the results of the traffic study, not just a traffic study, but the results of the traffic study. And what I agree with everybody else on the board.
So you want us to see the results of the traffic study?
Well, That's a good point. If the board is inclined to require a traffic study, just requiring a traffic study and voting to approve the project tonight would grant the special exception regardless of the results of the study. So if the board wants to see a traffic study, the best way to go about it may be to continue the case and require a traffic study in the interim, or I mean, I think that's procedurally the best thing to do.
So then that puts us in the situation where we're making determinations off of the traffic study?
Well, the board would then have the opportunity to review the traffic study and make a decision as a result of what the traffic study comes back with.
If the city engineer approves it, maybe it would not have to come back to this board then.
So we can put the stipulation traffic study with the approval of the city engineer?
Like Liam stated earlier, other departments will review this, including engineering. So, engineering would take in consideration, how it affects traffic.
And this special exception really just get the ball rolling, right?
Right.
It'll give him an opportunity to see his plan, see what he need to do, raise his capital, whatever he need to do to get the ball rolling, and all the other things that come along with that, the traffic study, engineering, and all that, right? Okay.
So I'm just trying to make sure Mary Catherine and Joe are okay. So if we say traffic study and then city engineer approval,
If the city engineer is good, this is a little backwards than some of the other cases we've seen before that where, I think city engineers have reviewed it or there have been more developed plans. So I just want to make sure that this is being reviewed and considered by the engineer.
Okay, if the city engineer disagrees, then where does it go?
If the board places a condition that it's approved, subject that they receive approval from the city engineer on a
Okay.
traffic study, if it were denied, they would not receive the special exception. They would have to come back and request something different.
so can we do that, chat?
If the city engineer does not return favorable results for the petitioner, he can appeal to this board, correct? I mean, because right now, earlier we mentioned a previous school and the traffic study, but that was on University Boulevard, which has much more traffic. We're looking at Foster's Ferry Road, doesn't have as much traffic. We already have 2 residential properties that use that road. And if we go up to 41st or 42nd, wherever Stillman Heights is, now that's the actual school with much more traffic and the same, and they're operating 5. So I don't think it'll be an issue with the traffic coming in and going out, more so as I think the biggest concern was being able to see your sight lines. And with that retaining wall being put up, that was put up by the city, correct? The retaining wall? So I'm pretty sure that's part of, I would consider that part of engineering right there. So if it was an issue with sight lines, the city wouldn't have moved forward with putting that entrance and exit. Right.
Well,
So,
but I don't know about that. Then that looked pretty old too, that wall. So whenever that was done, that was probably old. I just don't know.
So I think that would be good if can we put the traffic study approved by the city engineer? If he declines and says it's not approved or he doesn't agree, then it'll come back to us. He can appeal to us again, and then we have to do something different. Can we do that?
There's not a straightforward mechanism in the rules to allow for that. If it's approved on the condition of a favorable result from the traffic study, then I think that's implicitly a denial if it's an unfavorable result from the traffic study, which would require 6 months, which was why I had suggested because we don't know what the traffic study is going to contemplate, then the board having the opportunity to know what the traffic study actually contains would be the easiest way for the board to have an informed vote.
If we continue it, how long do we continue it?
You can continue it up to 2 months.
So he would have 2 months to do a traffic study. And so that could kind of go into some costs or something, because if we approve it and say contingent on the traffic study, he has time to do the traffic study when money, however long it takes him. You know what I mean? So that seems like we're putting somebody in a situation, because he says he's not going to do the work until some time. And all we want to know with the traffic study, Mary Catherine, is what are you wanting the traffic study to?
I just want like a site plan of, how you're going to stack cars and,
Parking and,
Yeah.
and like I said, sight distance, I think could be a problem. I don't know if it will be, but could be. And we just don't have the distances here in front of us.
yeah.
So that's what I'm in favor of, is putting the traffic study approved by the city engineer. Then that way he has time to work all that out, the logistics, and talk about that, but he's not on a 2-month window. Because I feel like putting him on a 2-month window kind of puts, now you got to get something done that's not the most important thing in what you're trying to,
Right.
is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mary Catherine, that sounds?
Yeah.
Okay. Chadwick? Okay. And dropping kids off, the van coming out, going down the hill and coming out. That's the concern. And so they need to see the plan of what you're going to do, parking and all of that. With that condition. If it's approved by us, you got to get the traffic study, but you'll have time to do that because you won't be able to move forward until you get that done. So you'll have time. If we continue it, you'll have 2 months to get this traffic study done and come back to us and then approved. So which would you prefer to do?
All right, so I got a question. I'm kind of confused here. So as it sits, like I said, I've talked to an architect, and we'll kind of walk the property, see what's going to happen, then we'll get with the engineer and kind of go from there. So as it sits now may not be what it is, if I get a traffic study now, after I walk it with my architect.
That's what you'll
gonna be-
have time to do all of that. That's what I'm saying with the approval, that when you get ready to move forward and do what you're going to do, you just know you need to have a site study, a traffic study. So when you get your architect and you do whatever you do, you don't have to go through the traffic study right now. But as you get ready to go open and you do all the work, just know that's what that is contingent on.
So my thing is to go ahead and get a traffic study done and give it back to you guys? Is that what I'm hearing? It's not what I'm hearing?
No, basically what Ms. Cole is saying is, once you get all your architectural designs done and you figure out what you're gonna do with it, and you get ready to come back and present it to the city again, you need to have that study in there too.
Okay.
That's pretty much right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. It's up to you now. If you want to go ahead and get a
Yeah.
traffic
I mean,
study.
I'm
We're
cool,
trying to
whatever.
give you the time to go and do what you're planning on doing.
Okay.
Just know as you're doing what you're doing, part of it needs to be a traffic study.
Gotcha.
I think that's going to be a critical piece of it. Okay, the traffic study will be a critical piece.
So I guess my question is, never mind.
You get it?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Mayor Catherine?
It looks like Hudson was going to say
Yeah,
something.
You'll say something?
Board, I have a short recommendation. It may be better wording-wise to say condition upon a favorable review of engineering. They may not even require a traffic study, our engineering office. And so
Condition upon of the city engineer?
a favorable review of the city engineer.
Okay. So that's as you move forward with your plans. You need to have a favorable review from the city engineer, and then your approval will stand.
Okay,
Okay? Yes.
yes.
All right. Thank you. All right. We all on the same page now? All right. I'm going to read the closed board comment, and I'm going to read the petition. ZBA-10-26, Corey Stewart petitions for a special exception to allow the use of a private club of lodge for the operation of an after-school program at the property located at 2518 Foster's Ferry Road, Zone MR-1, Council District 1, with the stipulation upon favorable review of the city engineer, upon a favorable review of the city engineer, and that it is used as a youth center only. Voting?
Yes.
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 All right. Thank you.
All right, so moving on to our next case tonight, ZBA 1126, Rayanne Hill petitions for a special exception to allow the operation of a daycare at the property located at 1732 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, zoned SFR3, Council District 1. Here we have an aerial view of the property and its zoning. This is just west of West Lawn Middle. Here's a view of the property from the street and its driveway. They're requesting a special exception to operate a daycare that will operate Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. and will be available as needed for special events and holidays. They'll have no more than 6 children occupy the home at any time, and they'll range in age from 7 days to 12 years old. Here are your regulations for daycares and your decision-making standards for special exceptions. We did not receive any public comment. Do you have any questions for staff?
Let me ask you, go back to the picture. So seeing as where they are, will they be able to turn around in that yard, or they need to have some gravel down to do that, or how would
So
that?
they won't be able to place gravel. I asked the applicant to come prepared to talk about how they were going to park and do drop-offs, so I'll let them confirm that.
Okay. But, so they cannot do gravel in the front
They
yard?
cannot have gravel. They can pave it. They will need that approved by city staff.
So they can do some pavement in the front yard?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. All right, Rayanne Hill?
Good evening to the board members, community members. Thank you for being here. My name is Rayanne Hill. I currently live at 1732 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35401.
So tell us your plan, Rayanne.
Well, I am trying to get prepared to get licensed to do an in-home daycare or childcare. My plans are to operate from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m., second shift, because right now I can't do overnight until I'm established and doing in-home childcare for an extended period of time. The current plan is to have parents pull up through the driveway and turn around on the grass, but as Mr. Lim was saying, I can't put gravel down, so I would have to pave it. When my inspector came out and my DHR rep came out, it wasn't mentioned that I needed to pave or put gravel down, so I was under the impression that turning around on the grass would be fine. I do have plenty of room for cars to pull up and turn around as is, but again, I was told I would need to put something down.
Yeah, DHR is just looking to make sure the house is fine. They
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
know about drop off and all that part of it. So would you be able to do that? Because that's going to be the main concern, because right there where you are is a light and all of that pulling out, and that's a pretty high traffic area.
Yes, ma'am.
Go back to the front, show that. Yeah, MLK, Rodney drives pretty fast, and Paul, they drive pretty fast. Yeah. And plus, there's a school across the street, so I'm sure you deal with the traffic and all of that coming through at certain times. Now, the times that you're talking about probably won't be as bad and it might be easier, and it's only 6 cars, so it might not be that big a deal. But still, they have to turn around, or they would have to back out that driveway. That could be some type of issue there. So how difficult would it be for pavement, or do we need to stipulate that, or what do you?
If the board wants to place that condition to feel good about the parking situation.
Okay. Any other comments you'd like to make?
I did speak with, is it not planning and development? I did speak with permit. They said I don't need a permit or anything to put the concrete down, so it's just a matter of me having it done.
I got you. Let me ask you this question. Did you go through the Shelton State program?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
So you're, not only the parking area, but the driveway itself, looks like the driveway is gravel too?
No, sir.
It's not?
No, sir, it's cement.
Okay, good.
I think that's probably one of the most famous houses in Tuscaloosa.
It most certainly is, yes,
Are
sir.
you Ken McDonough Hughes?
That's my grandfather,
I believe, military, ex-military?
retired.
I see it all over you. I've got probably about 500 whoopings in that backyard. Open my time. No, I'm just concerned about the turnaround, the easement, and the access to the driveway, especially coming out 15th Street, where the old abandoned house is in the lodge. Have you talked to those homeowners, the property owners about the abandoned house, vagrants and stuff like that? Have you?
I have
haven't?
spoken with them. That's I guess, a lodge matter. Trying to think of the gentleman's name. Mr. Hughes is
Yeah.
actually the gentleman who's, I guess, in command of the lodge. He has no problems with me doing whatever I'm doing on my side of the fence.
It's McDonough Hughes in my grandmama's yard. My yard is like, I done threw my ball over there and Rex and Jet and chased me for many years. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But,
Well, thank you for going down memory lane,
lane,
Mr.
yes.
Phelps. We appreciate you. Any other questions from any board members or comments? Thank you so much, Ms. Hill.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, we have one person to speak in favor of Ms. Martin.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
My name is Ruthie Martin, and I am a neighbor in that area that Rayanne is trying to do the daycare, and I think I'm in favor of it. And anytime it comes to people want to take care of kids, we need a lot more people like her to do it. So she have my permission.
Thank you so much.
hey, it's me, Ruthie.
All right, Rodney.
Is there anybody else that'd like to speak for or against this petition? At this time, we'll close public comment and go to board comment.
I'm in favor of this. I know Tuscaloosa had 4 daycares closed towards the end of 2025, so I know this is needed, and I like the idea of it being kind of second shift. I'm good as long as there is space to turn around and there's space for any other staff who may be working to park. So I'm in favor.
Yeah, I'm in favor also with the daycare being at that location that's historic, and knowing that you will be able to take care of children on second shift when people have to work and stuff like that. That's great. Contingent on the easement access, the turnaround part, I'm in favor.
I'm in favor. I'm so glad to see someone taking advantage of the Shelton State Community Project that they're doing. This is what we need. Tuscaloosa truly needs daycares. We'd like to see you have the pavement. Do we want to put that as a stipulation that she has to do it, or what are we? Looking at the time frame from 4 to midnight, that seems like, not as high traffic.
Right, and schools will already have dismissed, so across.
I think that
Is that something that she'll talk about with engineering, like as part of the process, or?
So for the interior drive, I don't believe they would need to meet with engineering on that. Planning does have some requirements as far as how much of the front yard can be surfaced. Other than that, she would have some freedom to do as she needed.
So I don't necessarily want to put a stipulation on that because of the hours that she's planning to do. I would like for her to consider that, and I think it'll be better for the business in terms of if you got, because six people, it's not going to be a lot of traffic going in. I think if we were doing a full-blown daycare with 12 or so employees, it's probably not going to be employees, it's probably going to be her, and it's going to be, I guess we didn't ask that. Would you come back up for a second? Are you planning on having employees?
Two, I'm required, myself and a substitute. So if I'm absent or need to go away or get ill, I have to have a substitute as backup to come in.
Okay, so we're not looking at a lot of parking. We're just having a couple of cars and then people coming in. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right. Mr. Rollins?
I have no issues. I'm in favor.
I have no issues with it.
Okay, we'll close board comment. I'll go to read the petition. ZBA-11-26, Rayanne Hill petitions for a special exception to allow the operation of a daycare at the property located at 1732 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Zone SFR-3, Council District 1, voting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
petition is approved. Oh, Chris Lyons.
All right, moving on to our last two cases tonight. I'm going to present these together. ZBA 1326, Chris Lyons, petitions for a special exception to allow the short-term rental of a property located at 69 Springbrook, zoned SFR2, Council District 7. Here we have an aerial view of the property. And its zoning. It's just south of Buffalo Wild Wings along McFarland Boulevard East. And active short-term rentals in the area. Here's a view of the property from the street.
It's a nice looking house.
And its driveway. So this petition was approved at the April 2025 meeting. They were approved on a 30-night probationary period. As the applicant came to renew their business license for 2026, they noted on their audit form that they rented for 101 nights during 2025. So this property was approved before. Their special exception permit, because they rented over the allowed nights, was deemed null and void, and that's why they're appearing back before you today. Nothing has changed since the initial application, but I'll go ahead and go through it. Chris Lyons will be the primary contact and will be available 24 hours a day in case of an emergency. The petitioner currently manages one other short-term rental in Tuscaloosa. House is equipped with exterior security cameras, smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, and keypad locks. It is not owner-occupied and will remain vacant when not rented short-term. The house has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Petitioner is requesting 6 adults and 3 vehicles. If approved, staff recommends 6 and 3. Additionally, if approved, the petitioner is requesting the ZBA waive the 30-night probationary period and allow the property to be rented for more than 45 nights per year. We did not receive any public comment. Any questions before I move on? Okay. Next case, ZBA 1426, Chris Lyons, petitions for a special exception to allow the short-term rental of a property located at 1807 17th Avenue East, Zone SFR3, Council District 5. Here's an aerial view of the property and its zoning, just east of Target, and short-term rentals in the area. Here's a view of the property from the street and its driveway. So this is similar to the last case. They were approved at the April 2024 meeting and were renewed for 45 nights. Property was rented for 240 nights during 2025. Chris Lyons will be the primary contact, will be available 24 hours a day. He currently manages one other short-term rental in Tuscaloosa. It is equipped with security cameras, smoke, carbon monoxide detectors, and keypad locks. It is not owner-occupied and will remain vacant when not rented short-term. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. Petitioner is requesting 6 adults and 3 vehicles. If approved, staff recommends 4 adults and 2 vehicles. And additionally, if approved, the petitioner is requesting to waive the 30-night probationary period and allow for more than 45 nights per year. No public comment on this. Do you have any questions for staff?
In April 24, were they still coming to us directly to get the renewal?
I believe they were being renewed by staff at that point.
They were renewed by staff?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the procedure that staff goes over with them at the renewal in terms of making them aware of the 45 days.
Sure, yeah. So when they're initially approved at the ZBA, they receive a letter from staff detailing the conditions, one of those conditions being the 30-night probationary period. After that first probationary year, when they come back to renew, they make contact with our revenue office first. Revenue will send planning their information. Planning will check to see if there are no issues. If there are, or if there are no issues, we will automatically renew them for 45 nights. During that process, they are asked to fill out an audit form showing the nights and dates that they rented the previous year, and that is reviewed. That audit form, that process to review the audit form was kind of established this year. So they are being reviewed at this point now, moving forward.
But who tells them that when the renewal comes, that they have 45 days?
Right, so when they are renewed, they receive a document from planning that our revenue office shares with them detailing the conditions that they have, one of those being the 45-night condition.
Okay.
So you're saying it's known that it can't go over so many days a year, and we got 101 days on one and 240 days. Was that short-term rental days or
Short-term.
rented out days?
Yeah, we have a lot of short-term rentals that will also operate long-term.
So is that against the rules?
No, they can do that, and those nights are counted separately.
Okay, so
Anything over 30
these
nights.
days that you just pulled up are short-term rental days?
Yes, sir.
So is that against the rules? 101 days?
Yes, sir.
In 2025, okay.
Yeah.
It says 45 per year.
I see that, I'm just wanting him to say it.
When were they initially approved by
Yeah.
the ZBA?
The first one was, I'll go back to that one. The first one was approved April 2025. And I believe the second one was approved April 2024.
So from April 2025, he did and he came back to renew. When did he go to renew the license?
I'm sorry?
When did he go to renew his license?
I'll let the applicant confirm when he applied for the renewal. But for the April 2025 renewal, generally all business licenses need to be renewed at the beginning of the year.
Okay, so from April to January, he did 101. And then the other one was a year?
That was for the entire year, 25.
Okay,
And I'll let the applicant confirm more of the details.
okay. Thank
Thank you.
Mr. Lyons?
Chris Lyons, 12165 Shoal Ridge, Northport, 35475. As he said, I kind of screwed up on the audit form too. Some of those were 30-night rentals, and I just added them in there. So the 240 I know looks really rough, and I had a huge misunderstanding on the 45-night rental fee for short-term rentals. I was under the impression after you got through the probationary period and you got your 45 nights, if there's no issues, it was kind of like it's open. And this year is the first year that I've actually received something or somebody calling into question the nights that have been rented.
So if you had to say of the 240, how many of those were actually 30-day rentals or more?
Off the top of my head, 3.
So that's 90 taken away. So that put us at 150?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then the other one of the 101, how many?
There's probably, off the top of my head, 1 or 2.
Okay, so that's 60. That put us at 41. Okay. So one of them would get you up under, and the other one would still put you over.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
You-
the first one that's his first year. It was approved in April 25, so that should have been 30 days.
So that's, okay, so that's over. I was trying to work with you.
Oh,
I mean, this is not a little bit. And I've been doing short-term rental for a while now, and we are very specific about 30 days and 45. I don't understand how we got over like this. Like, this is a lot over. And I appreciate you being honest and reporting it, but this is a lot over. I mean, this is 2 or 3 years worth of, like 240, that's like 2 or 3 years worth of rentals in terms, 6 years worth of 45, yes, yeah, it's about 3 or 4 years of rental that's being done. And we have it for a reason that 30, basically it lines up with the football games and it lines up with parent weekend. So it's like, beyond that, that's kind of how it's, anybody else? Got views?
Well, I mean, can I just be open and honest about the situation?
Sure.
So before I ever got into the short-term rental business, I contacted numerous short-term rental people that own houses through Tuscaloosa because I didn't want this exact situation to happen. And then it was conveyed that no one checks it. So the first year and the
Until they check it.
1807, and then
See, it's until
exactly,
they check it.
and now,
you were the
I'm
one.
the first one standing here.
So that's the point, is that, it's all good till somebody says.
That's exactly right. And I take full responsibility. Like, I misunderstood the whole 30 and 45 day. That is my fault.
And I understand how people tell you, well, they don't look at it, don't worry about it.
Well, they're not looking at my business as my business either. I mean, I'm willing to go back to the 30-day probationary period just to prove that I can do this the correct way and earn the trust of the ZBA because, my future plans, I have a daughter with special needs, and this is part of my plan to hand down a legacy to her. That way her sister doesn't have to worry about financial problems in the future for her. So.
I understand. Any other comments or questions? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have anybody signed up to speak for or against. Is there anybody in the audience that'd like to speak for or against this petition? Okay, at this time, we'll close public comment and we'll go to board comment.
I think we should do exactly what Mr. Lyons suggested and go back to the 30-night probationary period for both short-term rentals, simply because, this meeting is televised. We could have a lot of people that have short-term rentals watching this, and I think that if you were granted a special exception to operate a short-term rental, that needs to be done within the stipulations and requirements that it's approved under. That's my thought on it.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with you. I don't see where we should go past 30 days because we already went past 30 days, 101 nights, 240 nights. Yeah, I'm a stickler on the rules, regulation being retired military, so we kind of, we got to make sure that we all adhere to the rules and regulations that's set by this committee in this city. So, yeah.
I'm not in favor. I feel like that you knew and you did something different and you've already took advantage of the situation. I feel like you should have to wait 6 months and come back before us and request it. I feel like for those who are watching, who are doing this, I feel like we have to take a stance because everybody can come in and say, oh, I didn't know. Oh, you know what I mean? And do what they want to do. This is a lot more. You still will be able to rent your house out. You can do long-term rental. We have nothing to do with that, so you can just do 30 days and move forward from there. So we're not leaving you without options, in my opinion. I am not pleased with this at all. I feel like everybody that comes in here, we tell them 30 days. Everybody knows it's 30 days. They know it's 45 on renewal. And I feel like, the fact that people are talking and saying, that's why they're checking now. And now I know people can come in and say whatever they want to say, but when you egregiously break the law, break the rules and regulation like this, I don't think you get a slap on the wrist and say, oh, we're going to go back to 30 days. Personally, I'm not in favor.
Yeah, I agree with Board Chair. We've been at this short-term rental thing for a while, and we have gone in a lot of different directions to try to streamline this so it isn't as confusing. But 101 nights and 240 nights, as mentioned before, that's 4 years and 5 years worth of short-term rentals. That's a lot. As right now, I'm not in favor. If it's a situation where we vote it down, you come back 6 months later, that's fine. But as of right now, I just can't see approving it because then that would really open up Pandora's box to pretty much anything at that point.
Well, I agree with the board chairperson too, for the reasons that you stated.
All right, we'll close board comment. I'll read the petition.
I got a question. So this is two different, it's a recommendation that we wait 6 months? Like, how are we voting on this?
You voting yes or no?
Okay.
So what, if you say.
But there
if
were
we-
like some staff recommendation, different things. I guess I'm just trying to figure out.
Go back to staff recommendation. Staff recommendation is that if we do approve it, that we do 6 adults and 3 vehicles, and that we waive the petitioner's request, and we waive the 30-night probation period.
Okay.
No, the question is, if we voted down, what happens next?
Yeah,
When is it-
you had mentioned the 6 months.
He has to wait 6 months to come. Anytime we decline something, they have to wait 6 months to come back before us.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm recommending, is that, for me, I'm gonna vote no, and then if it's voted down, he'll have to wait those 6 months and come back. And that's how I personally feel about it.
But, yeah, I agree after hearing you.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to make an example of anybody, but I feel like if we don't make a stand right here, that everybody can just do what they want to do and come in and just say, oh, I made a mistake. And so I hope this goes out, that they know now that this could be the consequences of it. Had it been closer, like 40, 50, 60, but when we get to 101 and 240, that's the whole year. And so, so I'm going to close board comments, and I'll read the petition. We're going to do voting on both of them separate. So I'll read the first one. ZBA-13-26, Chris Lyons petitions for a special exception to allow the short-term rental of a property located at 69 Springbrook, Zone SFR-2, Council District 7. Voting?
No.
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 Petition failed. Second petition. ZBA-14-26, Chris Lyons petitions for a special exception to allow the short-term rental of a property located at 1807 17th Avenue East, zoned SFR-3, Council District 5. Voting?
No.
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 Petition failed. And we are adjourned. We adjourn.